Hey Sean, I'm like so nervous for this fences test for Bachelor's class.
Oh, the one on gender roles?
Yeah, do you want to study?
Yeah,
I have
the
the book.
notes. So throughout the play, Troy seems to talk really vulgar to Rose, and the gender roles seem to revolve around Troy and Rose's relationship throughout the book. Like when in scene one, act one, like when Bono and Troy are talking on the porch, Troy talks very vulgar to Rose and doesn't acknowledge her as a woman. Doesn't acknowledge her as Rose. He always talks to her and goes when he goes, what are you worried about? What are we getting into for? This is men talk, woman. And then he talks about them having sex later in that same scene, while Bono's right there.
Yeah. Is it the quote where he's like, well, go on back in the house and let me and Bono finish what we was talking about. This is men talk. I got some talk for you later. You know what kind of talk I mean. You go on and powder up. I guess what he's trying to say is that all she's good for, that she's not even good enough to be talking with men. All she's good enough is for sex. So
yeah.
That could be a gender role in that. Mm-hmm. That's all women are good for.
And then in the book, there's also Lyons and Bonnie's relationship. Lyons is Troy's son from another marriage. Their relationship seems to show relationships nowadays and in our times, because they're more reverse gender roles. Bonnie makes the money in their relationship. She has a job, while Lyons is more of a musician. He doesn't really have a steady income. But since Troy is from Troy grew up in the 1950s, before the 1950s, and he's very traditional. So he seems to think that Lyons should take care of Bonnie, not the other way around. When Troy said, I don't know why he don't go and get him a decent job and take care of that woman he got, when he's talking to Bono. And it just seems that Troy doesn't approve of a relationship where the woman makes more money.
We also see a quote that Troy says, wait a minute, you gonna say thanks Rose and ain't gonna look to see where she got that $10 from? Because after Rose hands Lyons the money, Lyons says thank you to Rose. So I guess in that sense, Troy is reassuring that he is a man and that he is the one, he makes the money. So that's another gender role. In Act 1, Scene 2, we see that Troy complains about Rose because she plays a lottery game, and it's kind of Troy never puts Rose's needs. It's not really a need, but it's kind of something that Rose likes to do. Yeah, she likes to do.
Yeah.
And that's what she does on her spare time. So a quote that she says herself is, it's something to do. And if you want to read Troy's part.
Them numbers don't know nobody. I don't know why you fool with them. You and Lyons both.
And then she says, it's something to do.
You ain't doing nothing but throwing your money away.
Troy, you know I don't play foolishly. I just play a nickel here and a nickel there, Troy.
That's 2 nickels you done thrown away.
Now I hit sometimes. That makes up for it. It always comes in handy when I do hit. I don't hear you complaining then.
Rose doesn't complain when Troy and Bono go out after payday and get a bottle of gin and hang out and everything and waste money that way, they go into groceries or something else.
Yeah.
But if Rose gives away 1 nickel to try and win money and something to have to have fun, to have enjoyment in her life other than the daily chores and taking care of Troy, Troy believes that she shouldn't have that enjoyment and she should just do what she's supposed to.
The gender role here is that men are allowed to go spend their money. Since they're the ones that make the money, they're allowed to go to the bar.
Yeah, since Troy believes it. Troy knows that he makes the money. He believes he should be able to go drink, and that she doesn't make the money, she can't.
Yeah.
The next scene, when Troy comes back, he comes home and surprises Rose and scares her, and she asks him about the game, but he says, what do I care about the game? Which shows he told her he's going to watch the game, but he didn't watch he doesn't know what happened in the game, so we could believe that something else is going on there.
In the beginning of the play, it's hinted that he's always going to Taylor, so maybe it's hinted that he's cheating. So throughout the book you see maybe he is cheating, and it's more easy. The gender role here is that because women are confined in the home, they don't even have the chance to cheat because they're always at home. But because a man is allowed to go anywhere else, he has more of a chance to cheat.
So later in that scene, Troy and Corey fight because Troy doesn't believe Corey should be playing football, and instead he should be working at the A&P. Corey says, how come you ain't never liked me?
And Troy says, liked you? Who the hell say I gotta like you? And then he demands his son to straighten up. God damn it! I ask you a question. What law is there to say that I have to like you? And I guess in that scene, Troy's demanding respect from his son. He's like, I don't need to like you.
Yeah,
I'm
like
a man.
later when Troy demands Corey to say yes sir instead of answering him yeah, because he thinks that since he makes the money in the house and it's his house that he should like yes he should be the boss because he makes the money and he pays the bills and everything, but like it shouldn't be to the point where like you have to like force your kid to say yes sir and like make him quit his dreams. And then also later, which is like a big general, is like a man gotta take care of his family. You live in my house. Where like now you see like that, like a lot of the times women make the most money in the relationship, and the big general here is a man gotta take care of his family. Like yeah, a man just does have to take care of his family, but like now it's like more equal and like both of them take care of like each other.
Another thing I remember we were talking about one time in Backelman's class way back was how Backelman said when the children were bad, the women would wait for their husbands to come home because the man is always the one who like installs fear, I guess, into their children. So Corey, you can tell that Corey is scared to death of his father. So that just shows that he's the man, and that's the general. That men are like scary, especially like father.
Rose had been standing there listening to their conversation. And Rose asks why Troy doesn't let Corey play football, and there's no harm in it. But Troy doesn't want him to because he thinks that he should be making the money. Like the job is more important than football. Troy
just he thinks it also goes back with like the same way he doesn't really like Rose playing the lottery. He just not that he would just prefer Rose to stay at home and do her work, and he prefers that his son goes to A&P and works. And in another
also like later in that conversation, like Troy tries to compare his life, like going to work every day and like bring home the money. And he thinks that's so much harder than what Rose goes through every day, like making the food for them to eat and like cooking and cleaning and just taking care of the house. Troy since he makes money doing what he does, he thinks he's so much better than Rose. In that sense, because he makes money.
It's kind of like he's trying to victimize himself, but it isn't really fair because Rose she's a woman, and I guess her general is, oh yeah, it's easy to be a woman and be a housewife, but it's really not because she has to put up with Troy, who is obviously disrespectful to her, and she has to put up with her child Corey, and that's being a housewife is also very hard.
We see Bono confronting Troy about a girl named Alberta that Troy met at Taylor's, the bar that we talked about earlier. Bono suspects Troy of cheating.
Another part we see in this scene 4 is Troy says he calls Rose and she doesn't come fast enough. So
Troy says, "You're supposed to come when I call you, woman." Bono will tell you that. Don't Lucille come when you call her?
And then Rose says, "Man, hush your mouth, I ain't no dog." Even though Troy is like, he's being obviously very disrespectful to his wife.
Yeah, he's being very disrespectful and he thinks he's better. Like, he thinks since he's the boss of the house, he makes the money. He thinks she should be obedient and like do what he says.
She does defend herself because she says, "Man, hush your mouth." And in other parts, she also will she always defends herself in a way.
Yeah, that's like really significant for back then. Like now you see that like women like aren't treated like that. Like they're respected. And Rose to tell him to be quiet and like to stand up for herself is really powerful. Act 2, scene 1, we see Bono and Troy talking again, and Bono brings up the girl from Taylor's again, Alberta, and Troy tries to play it off. Like he says, "Oh, I flirt with a lot of girls," but like that brings up a big issue. Like he thinks it's okay for him. Like if he flirts with a lot of girls, it's okay. Like unless he just gives one girl all his attention. Like it's still bad though, because like he should be faithful to Rose. Later in that scene, Troy admits to Rose that he has cheated on Alberta, and he actually got her pregnant. He goes, "Rose, you're not listening to me. I'm trying to the best I can to explain it to you. It's not easy for me to admit that I've been standing in the same place for 18 years, and that's a big statement because it's like him saying him being married to Rose is like him not moving forward in life." And then Rose brings up the points where she goes, "Well, what about me? I had hopes and dreams. Don't you think I ever want to be with other men or like see other men, talk to them? I would like to go somewhere and forget about my responsibilities, which is kind of what he did. Like, Troy forgot about his responsibilities when he cheated on her.
What you brought up was obviously like one of the biggest gender roles, that women, their dreams are always find a husband and then get married, and once you're married, just be the housewife. And he is like trying to look for more opportunities, but it's like, what more would you want? She says that he takes and doesn't give, and he says, if you want to read this part.
You say I take and don't give?
Troy, you're hurting my arm, let go.
I don't give you everything I got. Don't you tell that lie on me.
I think in his head he realizes that him cheating was wrong, but he doesn't want to accept it, so he holds on to Rose and he tries to like be like, no, Rose, you're lying. But just because you're giving someone money doesn't mean you can excuse for cheating. The gender rule is that a man can tell a woman whatever and she has to accept it. But when a woman is like something to a man, he gets all defensive.
In scene 2 of Act 2, Troy hasn't been coming home right after work, after paydays and then like just during the week. And Rose asks if he's coming home.
I feel like her saying you haven't been coming home is her last attempt to be like, just come home, like you already cheated on me and you already got a girl pregnant, like just come home already. And the fact that she says come home is he can go out and she can't go out. She has to stay home or he has to come home. They have to always be together or he can go out. It can never be that they both go their separate ways and come back. It's either only him, because that's the gender role. Lions actually gets left by Bonnie. So the quote that Lion says is, me and Bonnie been split up for 4 years now, about the time Papa retired. I guess she just got tired of all them changes I was putting her through. So in the quote, we see kind of a reverse gender role, because in this case, Bonnie leaves him because he's not getting money. And
yeah, because Bonnie makes the money, and like you wouldn't see that back then. Like Rose couldn't leave Troy because she didn't work, and she couldn't like afford like a place to live or anything. And Bonnie, like this shows more of a relationship of now, because Bonnie makes the money like in the relationship, so she can leave if she wants to, and she does. Later in scene 3, Troy enters with his new daughter right now, that Alberta just had, and he asks Rose to take care of his daughter. He goes,
the reason Troy is even asking Rose to take care of the baby is because Alberta died while giving birth. It's really hard for Rose to accept the fact that this is not her baby. Rose still accepts it because that baby has never done anything to her, and she is a mom and she's a woman. So even though that baby is a creation of Troy's wrongdoings, of his cheatings, Rose still accepts it. Which is
and I feel
gender
like,
role.
And Troy kind of expects her to, in a sense, because like he expects her to be the mother, and like.
I think I'm ready for this Bachman test.
Yeah, me too.